All right, let's just jump right in because something huge is happening in the world of technology. We're talking about a seismic shift, a power struggle between two absolute giants that is literally redrawing the entire global map. And believe me, this isn't just about who's selling more phones. It's about who gets to control the future.
And this quote, it just says it all. This rivalry has been framed as way more than just corporate competition. No, this has become a full-blown geopolitical battle. A nation basically going head-to-head with a single company.
In the year 2025, that's the flashpoint. This is the moment when all those years of simmering tension, all the strategic maneuvering, and all the technological breakthroughs finally just boiled over. The very foundations of the tech world were shaken.
Which really brings us to the big question we're tackling in this explainer. Is this the year the global tech ecosystem, the one we all grew up with, finally fractured for good? Let's grade it down.
Okay, first up, you have to look at Huawei's absolutely defiant comeback. I mean, they were facing unbelievable pressure, their Windows license was expiring, and they didn't just survive. They launched what is essentially a technological declaration of independence.
And the key to this whole thing is HarmonyOS. Now, this isn't just some copy or a simple replacement for another system. It's a brand new ecosystem built entirely from the ground up with one goal in mind: to completely free Huawei from its reliance on American software. The sheer scale of what they did here is, well, it's staggering. Over a 5-year period, Huawei threw more than 10,000 engineers at this one single project. Just think about that. That's an incredible amount of brainpower focused on one goal.
And all that effort, it paid off. We're talking over 2,700 core patents. See, this was never about just catching up. This was a massive, deliberate push to innovate, to build something new, and to build something they could defend. So what does all this tech actually do? Well, it creates a massive real-world advantage. Their integrated AI, called Celia, is a huge leap in productivity. A task that might have taken you hours before, like, say, summarizing a long meeting, now takes minutes. And it even gives you the action items. That's a game changer that businesses notice right away.
So, while Huawei is busy declaring its independence, let's flip the coin and look at Apple. The undisputed titan of tech found itself staring down a crisis that was born from the very strategy that made it so powerful in the first place.
Just look at this number. It's wild. A full 90% of Apple's entire global production is based in China. For decades, this was seen as a work of genius, a masterpiece of efficiency. But now, in this new geopolitical climate, it's become Apple's single greatest weakness.
And things went south fast. It was like a perfect storm. First, a major trade ruling went against one of their key suppliers, a company called BOE. Then, bam, a massive $12 billion revenue hit from sales just collapsing in China. And to top it all off, the Pentagon starts investigating that very same critical supplier. The walls were closing in.
So the obvious question is, why doesn't Apple just pack up and leave? Well, the simple answer is, they can't. It's pretty much impossible. Just moving 10% of their production would cost $30 billion. If they tried to make an iPhone entirely in the US, it might cost you $3,500, and they rely on over 2,400 critical parts you can only get from China. If that supply got cut off, production could stop for up to 8 months. It's a trap, and it's one they built for themselves.
And this is where it all comes together. We're talking about a head-on collision of titans. Huawei's success isn't happening in a bubble. It is directly fueling Apple's decline in what used to be one of its most important markets. I mean, the speed of this collapse is just shocking. Between 2023 and 2025, Apple went from owning a dominant 70% of China's high-end phone market all the way down to 47%. That's a free fall. The same consumers who saw the iPhone as the ultimate status symbol are now flocking to their own domestic champions like Huawei.
Okay, but this next part? This quote from an executive at BOE, one of Apple's own key suppliers, should send a shiver down the spine of anyone in Silicon Valley. The message here is crystal clear. Chinese companies aren't just taking orders anymore. They are now innovating faster than Apple can even use their tech. They're not following, they're leading.
So what does Apple do? They go for the Hail Mary. They launched this thing called Project Independence, a massive $140 billion gamble to try and get some control back. But even with all of that money, there's a sobering reality check. The goal is to get their dependency down from 90% to 60% over 5 years, which means Apple is still going to be deeply, deeply tied to China well into the next decade.
So let's zoom out for a second. The real takeaway here is that this is so much bigger than just Apple versus Huawei.
The ripple effects from this clash are creating a completely new global tech order, and it has profound consequences for every single one of us.
Yeah, welcome to the new reality, folks. We're now living in an era of tech nationalism, where the country that made your phone is suddenly a political statement. Supply chains are being completely redrawn along geopolitical battle lines. The idea that all the big innovation happens in Silicon Valley, that's officially over. The world is splitting into separate, competing tech blocks.
And all of this leaves us with one huge, lingering question. Technology was supposed to be this great unifier, right? The thing that connected the world and created a single global market. But what we've just seen suggests that the forces of politics and national interest might have shattered that dream, maybe for good. And what comes next? Well, that's anyone's guess.